Welcome to Mighty Married Moms. Join us at our kitchen table twice a week as the Mighty Married Moms, Debbie, Linda, Wendy, invite spectacular guests to weigh in on staying sexy, vibrant, and healthy, building marriages with soul-satisfying connection, raising happy, healthy, successful kids. Conversations with Mighty Married Moms will bring you closer to the life you really want. Episode 115.
Hi, this is Wendy Williams, and marriage happiness is way possible. ConnectAgain.org is very happy to sponsor Mighty Married Moms. We are partners in bringing you closer to the life you really want. Visit us today for marriage boosts at ConnectAgain.org.
Hello everyone, it's Wendy Williams from MightyMarriedMoms.com, and I am happy to introduce my colleagues to my left.
I am Linda Tighe from allwellbreaksloose.com.
And Debbie Owen from youcanraisegreatkids.com. And Wendy is also from
ConnectAgain.org.
Right.
That's right. And we were really pleased. Our last episode involved a wonderful gentleman named Ron Reardon, who is in charge of a website called FullyInvestedDads.com. What an interesting
I
guy.
love that name.
Yeah.
I know, right? What
Fully
an interesting
Invested Dads.
background. He worked in corporate America for AT&T for 32 years, and when he retired, he said, "What is it that I want to do?" And somehow somebody directed him and said, "You know what? You've been such a great dad yourself. You need to kind of find a way to get what you've learned out there." So he kind of took it upon himself to really dive deep and find out the psychology, the emotional life, the physicality, all the things that have to do with being a great dad, and he's bringing that to birthing centers and to, I guess, dads groups with who are, about to have a baby. Yeah. And the interesting thing, I love what he had to say, was the fact that he himself was kind of a wounded buckaroo, because his own parents abandoned him, is his word, when he was around 3 years old, and his the father figure in his life was not a very effective one for him. So he kind of really made a decision as a young person, a young man, to say, "I'm going to be the kind of dad that I needed." And so he ended up having twin boys. And that really helped form a wonderful, a new person and a new family, and now all of us are benefiting from FullyInvestedDads.com.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I take from that is the fact that, and we talk about this a lot, is if you decide that you're going to do something differently, you can do it differently.
Yes.
It's not an easy road, as he
Right.
pointed out.
Right.
It's a difficult challenge, particularly the longer you wait to make those changes. But if you are intentional about wanting to do things better, you can do things better.
You're right.
Whether it's your health, your relationships, whatever it is.
That's right. It's a living by intention, I think we've
Right,
called it,
right.
in the past. And so, so he embodied all of that. And my favorite part about what we talked about was the brain science. The brain science just has me captivated in every area of my life.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
And so fascinating.
Well, because it explains so much.
Well, we all have to admit, like, we like the proof.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
somehow brain science seems to bring it around to feeling
See? We can prove a point.
We can, legitimize it somehow.
I told myself so, or now I get myself, or now I get you, or
Right.
Yeah. The experience alone is not enough. It can be, but it's nice to have that added layer.
Correct.
I guess
Right.
it just feels good.
Yeah, and we talked about at the very end the brain development of an infant. It starts intrauterine in the womb, where about when they're 4.5 months baked along in the womb, their emotional lives are pretty tuned in and tuned up, and whatever's going on, loud noises, yelling, tense mom, cortisol rushing from mom being under stress, the baby goes, "Oh, okay, it's emotionally difficult right now, right here, right." It's
I think I'll stay inside.
I think I'll stay here.
stay right here.
Right. Or if the mom is chill, and he said getting manis and petties, and it just made me laugh. I'm like, oh, I don't know if that would have happened with me. But the result is what he was saying was that a dad has such an important role to play in making sure that this woman is able to really nest and bring that baby's life, that baby's internal life, her own internal life, to kind of a more of a chill spot, and that it's just as important for a dad's impact and influence on that baby's heart and mind development, their emotional development.
Which is such a great way to look at this. Who's
I
talking
loved
about
it.
that? No, I haven't heard it before,
Nope.
and that's actually not true. I
It's
mean,
an important message.
yeah, it is an important message.
Yeah.
There aren't very many people talking about the impact that a dad can have on a baby before the baby's even born.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And you know what
huge.
he said? He said, "Don't tell his wife." So you promised not to tell his wife too, right?
Right,
Audience,
yeah.
don't tell her. But he said that he just had this feeling about twins before she was even ever pregnant. Twins, twins, twins. He drew a picture of a bassinet with two little heads peeking out of it. All this stuff. And he said when he was feeling her belly while she was pregnant, he said, "Oh yeah, there are 4 feet in there, but I'm not telling her. I'm going to let the doctor break that news to her because she'd be like, oh yeah, twins, twins, twins for the years before they were even pregnant." And then here it was, he felt like, oh yeah, there's feet going that way, there's feet going that way, but I'm not telling her. And so now we all know, but don't tell her. But anyway, yeah, so it was interesting that and then twin boys. I mean, what a really wonderful way to actually heal himself as a gentleman and a man and a
toddlerhood.
boy. Yes, and he was so conscious about it and so invested in it, and then he's now making it his life's work, and aren't we the benefits of that? Beneficiaries.
I think there are a few key things that we were talking about. One of one of the things he talked about is equipping your kids for the lives that they're going to live later on. Men, women, no matter mothers or dads, that is so true, and how important creativity is, and everything that we can do to equip our children
Yeah.
to be more creative and innovative. I mean, that's absolutely critical.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because and we wandered into the world of entrepreneurship too, and it's true, and I've heard this from so many of the really successful entrepreneurs, that being creative and allowing your creative juices to blossom, and then to facilitate that in your children is really important. And that's one of the things that, as a teacher for a long time, we would get really in the teacher's room. One of the things we would talk about is how kids are not. It's so easy to have them just fall into doing the bare minimum or just doing whatever they're asked to do.
Teaching to the test.
Teaching to the test, and not actually being creative in what it is they're coming up with, new ways of looking at things, new ways of making connections. And these are the things that our economy is riding on. We need to teach this in the home and in the school. And the more we can do to stimulate our kids' creativity, the better off all of us are going to be.
Yeah.
Did you see that thing on Facebook? I think I might have tagged you in that thing that was happened to be like a picture of words on a poster or something. But I thought it was really fascinating. Don't ask a child what they want to be when they grow up. Ask the child what problem they want to solve.
I love that.
Yeah.
Isn't that something that's just so different?
Yeah, I love that.
Ask the child, what is it that bothers you that you're saying this needs to stop, or we need to figure this out. That, and then just cultivate your learning and your development along those lines. Like, how am I going to be able to do that, as opposed to a role? Like, I want to be a fireman, a policeman, or a teacher, or whatever. It's about the role as opposed to what I want to do with
Right.
that.
Action.
That
Right.
action I
Yeah.
want to take, that problem I want to take on.
That mission I wanna
That
have.
mission,
Yeah, I
yeah.
like that a
Yeah.
Oh, that was-
What's my life's purpose? What is my purpose?
and so it
gonna be?
sounds like what he's doing with Fully Invested Dads is he wants to allow children to experience increasing mastery of capabilities, character, and creativity, the 3 C's for him. And so, and that just seems like it falls right along, like how, you came into the world with in my worldview, everybody comes into the world with a purpose or something that they're uniquely gifted to do. And how can we fan that flame? And he sounds like that's what he wants to impart to the men that he teaches or the dads that he teaches.
Right.
How can you be fully invested in helping fan the flame of this person, this human being that's been given into your life? And I also like what he said about vulnerability, about men walking around with a shield up most of the time. And they let it down partially with their significant other, typically their wives. But when they see that newborn baby, it kind of goes right down, and they allow themselves to really enjoy and feel emotionally connected to people.
Although some people, both moms and dads, need to grow into that real connection. I've certainly heard of women who have a baby put into their arms after delivery, and they're like, "Who is this?
Yeah.
What do I do with this?" So I mean, it's not unusual at all for a brand new parent to not feel the connection.
To not feel the connection right away.
And that's something that grows, and oxytocin, which is that connection hormone, that feel-good hormone, that's a huge part of it. And what can you do to stimulate the oxytocin in yourself, which will then be mirrored in your baby's brain as well.
Yes.
And that's where the connection
build that
begins to
connection up. Yeah.
to grow.
I also like what he said in terms of relationship, is that a woman typically maybe not doesn't feel the love as intensely perhaps, but at least you kind of know this person because you've been living with them for 9 months in your belly. Whereas a dad gets placed this baby, in his case 2 babies in his arms, and he's like, oh, we're meeting for the first time. Hello, I'm your dad. You're my boys.
Right.
Whereas a woman has a little bit more time. So it was a really interesting conversation, and it's so necessary to have this conversation about men and parenting and being a dad.
So we have mighty married men out there.
Yeah, there you go.
Mighty married men.
Married dads. Well, I guess we need the M in there, but anyway,
So one other thing that I want
DDD.
to what I want to pull out here too is the words fully invested.
Yeah.
And that is so intriguing to me, because how many dads feel like they're babysitting their kids when their wife is not around?
In fact, they use that word.
They use that word.
They do. And that creates an entire... The words we use are so important.
So important.
And so if you are a dad, or if you're a mom who says that your husband is babysitting the kids while you're out, really stop and think about what that means. Does that mean that the dad is fully invested? I don't think so.
No, right.
Or that you feel they're fully invested.
Or that you feel that they're fully invested.
If that's the way that you view them, is like you're the real parent, you're the real caretaker, and somebody else, when you're not there, is just it's just holding the fort so you can come back. That might not be the best opportunity for your child to be fully
you want your child is hearing it too.
Right.
So that's going to become your attitude as well.
Yes.
And they're not going to value dad in the
You're
same
not the
way.
boss of me.
They think dad's the babysitter.
Right.
While mom's out.
Absolutely.
Right.
Or dad may be either the funny one or the strict one.
Right.
And
Disneyland dad or something.
And once we start labeling that way, as opposed to, here we are talking about roles again, but I think it's true. I mean, both parents have to play an important role in the child's life. And I recognize that not all parents live together anymore, but they still need to be incredibly important in the child's life. And that role needs to be the funny one, and the strict one, and the loving one, and the providing one, and the for both parents.
Right. And I think, as you've said before too, it's important, if it's possible, for both parents to be on the same page. We're raising you together. We have the same idea, so I'm not the strict one. We both agree on what the rules are, right?
Right,
I'm not
absolutely.
Well, my husband is funny. He's the funny one, but but that's okay. That's not it's not a philosophy thing or how we're parenting. It's a personality thing, but it's different than I would never refer to him as the babysitter. I never have.
No.
I never wanted anyone to think that, or him to feel that way either. I would never say that.
Right.
It's been something that's painfully obvious to me. Like, don't say that.
Right. But I think a lot of people just default to it.
Yeah.
So what's another word that we can use instead of dad's babysitting? It's dad's turn to take care of the kids, or dad's turn to be with the kids,
dad's
home with the kids.
Right. Yeah.
Instead of saying dad's babysitting the kids, it's really choose your words intentionally in a way that honors both you for what you do and him for what he's doing.
Right.
Because even if you're a stay-at-home mom and your husband's or the dad of your kids is working full-time to support financially, it doesn't mean that he's not parenting during that time.
Amen.
He's playing a very important role that makes it possible for the family to function the way that it is. And it's really valuable to be able to have one parent stay at home. It's valuable if it's possible,
No, I wish we could unpack that a little bit. I would have loved to have heard him talk about 2 working parents and childcare
but stay-at-home dad.
Right.
I think it's not hard. It's not easy for men to be the stay-at-home. Me too.
Right.
Me too.
But there was a built-in assumption that somebody being home is a great idea, and whoever makes the most money or whoever's has the best eye contact with the child. We did touch on that a little bit, and we didn't touch on the fact that might not always be possible for every family. That there are people that do need to have 2 people out
working,
and how to
many.
and how what a fully invested dad or mom could look like in that arena.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, we'll have to have him back.
Yeah, we'll have to get into
definitely.
that.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
But thanks for listening. This has been Mighty Married Moms, and we were talking about Ron Reardon and fullyinvesteddads.com. Check them out. And you can find us at mightymarriedmoms.com. And we'd love it if you would download episodes on iTunes, give us a positive rating and review. And,
If you like us.
well, yeah, that's true.
We hope you like us.
Yeah,
You're here.
subscribe,
so-
You're listening,
subscribe,
right.
and give us a review.
Yeah,
Yep.
that would be
and
great.
share this with friends and family because we all want to get closer to the life we really want, don't we?
Yeah.
And that's what we're all about here. So take care, everyone. It's good to be with you. And signing off from mightymarriedmoms.com.
Thanks.
Have
Bye.
a great day.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Mighty Married Moms. Tune in twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays to meet fascinating and inspiring guests who will help you create the life you've always wanted.
You can find these episodes and special gifts just for you at mightymarriedmoms.com, as well as a link to our Facebook community,
where we continue the conversation around the kitchen table. Please also help share the love by leaving a review on iTunes. We'll see you next time.